Hello, everyone, and welcome again to another Teacher Joseph podcast. Well, in our news today, it seems that our supermarkets are giving their employees body cams. Now, if you don't know what a body cam is, it's like a piece of clothing. It's like a sash. It goes from your shoulder down to your hip on the other side, and it has a big camera in the middle, and you wear it like a piece of clothing, and it records everything which happens around you. And Tesco, Waitrose, the Co-op, and a few other supermarkets are saying that they have no choice except to bring these in, because they're facing so much violence in supermarkets. I have to say, I'm not really surprised. Tempers are rising across the UK. I'm not sure that it's aimed particularly at supermarket staff. I think all customer services staff are facing more and more aggravation, I think is a good word to use. I'm not sure why giving them body cams is expected to help. I don't see that it will. But certainly aggression and hostility towards customer-facing people is rising. It might be because costs are going up. It might be because we're moving now to an all-digital kind of platform. So less and less do we actually get to see people. And when we do get to see people, they don't usually perform as well as computers do. So you can see why people might be getting a little bit aggravated with that. Well, anyway, I know our railway staff already have body cams. Our police have body cams. And I'm sure there's other people. I mean, there's CCTV on every street corner here anyway. Our police don't respond to retail crime. So in the case where someone comes in, lifts all of their shopping and walks out with it, if you call the police, they won't respond. So it's very unlikely that anybody would get caught with that kind of thing, which is maybe part of the problem. But what the Co-op is saying, and it's one of our very common supermarkets, they're everywhere, they're saying that they actually have gangs now, and they have a name for them, steal to order gangs. And they just walk in, go behind the counter, take the cigarettes they want, take the food they want, and walk out. And there's no way to stop them. Even if you call the police, they don't respond to retail crime. If you have a security guard, they will probably disarm him in some way. So there's nothing can be done. All of these shops have CCTV. So if the police do actually look at serious retail crime, there's a chance they might be able to catch some of them. Body cams might help with that. I don't know. John Lewis, who own Waitrose, they're saying that they're training their staff on de-escalation, how to avoid a confrontation. But it's very difficult. You know, many places here, railway stations, supermarkets, pubs, they all have signs which clearly state, if you aggravate our employees, we will call the police immediately. And often that's written in different ways. Hostility against our staff will not be tolerated. It's very common to see that here. And from what I've heard, all of our customer-facing staff are under a bit of pressure. There's probably a number of reasons for that. One reason might be because we are quickly moving towards a digital platform. So we pay for our own food in the supermarket with self-service checkouts. The interaction we have with people is kind of minimal. And when we do, it's usually a little bit uncomfortable because we're no longer accustomed to it. There's other things happening as well. For example, banks on the high street are very quickly disappearing. So they obviously don't feel a need anymore to have staff to help us. Shops are closing. So maybe that's why. I don't know. If you are considering coming to the UK for a holiday, you've nothing to fear. I mean, in main city centre supermarkets, there isn't usually this kind of a problem. But across the country, generally, there is a big issue with this. In England at the moment, it's okay, I mean legally, to racially make comments against someone in the supermarket. There's no law against harassing someone, and that's part of the problem. Whereas in Scotland, to racially abuse or say anything hostile against a supermarket employee is actually criminal. So you can get into big trouble for this. So part of the problem is the way the law is. I mean, racial comments generally are illegal, but as part of a hostile act against the supermarkets, apparently they're not. Now, this is very strange. This is according to the BBC News story, which is all around the UK today via their website. So you can have a read at that and see what you think, but it's very interesting. It's very interesting that our violence in supermarkets would be so high. I mean, bearing in mind that people here drink a lot, that's part of the problem. And if people know they're not going to get caught, that's another part of the problem. But it's not something you would expect in the UK, is it? Yeah, I mean, usually we have these barriers, and these barriers are there to walk through when you enter the supermarket and when you leave, and they bleep if they find something wrong. So if you try to walk out of a supermarket and you haven't paid for something, it bleeps. But it's very unlikely you'll be challenged. I think supermarket employees are a bit afraid to do that. I walked out of Lidl the other day and it bleeped. But I mean, I paid for all my items and I looked back to see if any of the cashiers that had served me, if they wanted to check with me or to ask me any questions. But one of them just looked at me and just waved me on. She said, just go, it's fine. So I don't know whether there was a problem with the scanner. I don't know. But increasingly, nobody likes to be challenged and nobody likes challenging. So that's the news from today. Supermarket employees are going to be given body cams and yeah, hopefully it will help in avoiding violent attacks. A bit strange that, isn't it? And also a little bit worrying. Yeah, a little bit worrying. Well, there we are. So I hope you found this helpful and let's talk again soon. See you. Bye.